Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 77 of the road to 2K on chess.com. Today, we are sitting at 1927, and we're still at our peak. We've been on a bit of a win streak, and it looks like today we're going to play a 1932 from Indonesia. So after e4, we'll play c6, and we'll go into this position where now we have a two knights. Caro-Kann. So I'm going to play bishop to g4. If our opponent plays h3, we're going to play the exchange variation. And here, a little bit peculiar because our opponent has not taken the pawn. I'm going to reinforce with e6. If our opponent takes, we're taking back with the probably take back with the e pawn actually. C pawn's natural, but it allows knight to b5, which I'm not super amped about. And our opponent opts to go g3. So now I'm really tempted to play the move d4 and grab the space. And I don't see any reason to not do that. So I'm going to play d4. Now the concern whenever you have to play a move like d4 is that you're overextending your position, which is obviously something I want to avoid. And here, let's play c5, trying to get our knight onto this square. If this pushes forward, the threat is over here. So I'm going to take it on head first by playing queen to f6. Just challenging the queen on the square. Our opponent threatens by rotating over queen to b3. Queen e6 does not feel very good. And if I play up, e5 is coming with a double attack on the queen and the rook. A very tricky position. I think we've misplayed this. If I play up, they're still here. So let's go queen to e7 temporarily. I expect our opponent might push all the same. And if they do, I'm just going to play knight to c6. Knight to c6. And this is a little bit of a thorn in our side, which is why I don't love this position, but we've misplayed it already. We just kind of have to deal with that. And I may have to take the extra tempo here to play queen to c7 anyways. And they opted to take, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I'm going to take the tempo to play queen to c7, targeting this e-pawn. It also allows me to play moves like rook to b8. I might have to play knight to h6 and reroute. So if I go here, am I in any rush to play that move? I think the answer is no. I'm going to play knight to e7. This is our tempo, excuse me, our tempo gaining move. If I go rook here, the queen is very, very nearly trapped, is what I'm trying to figure out here. If there's a way for me to win it, that would be pretty cool. There's always moves like c3 in this position. Our opponent's king is kind of weak. If I go rook b, this pawn is still defended. And the queen just cannot be feeling very comfortable here. There's not many squares for them to go. I'm going to play bishop to e7 and castles just to get our king out of the center. The queen is offsides here. Obviously, our opponent could push with like f5, but that weakens the pawn. Just a lot of weird pieces in this position. I don't know what king to g2 does. I suppose it stops us from playing there. But I might have rook to b. I might have rook to b5 followed by, oh wait, no, I won't. I'll never have rook to a5 in this position. So what do I do here? I could play f6, which is generally a weakening move. Our opponent might want to play bishop to a5. But if they do, I just sidestep. If I play knight here, our opponent can pin. I could play knight here, attack these two squares. But the queen defends. So let's go ahead. Let's play f6. This pawn is going to be very, very weak. But I think I'm actually okay with that for the most part. This knight feels a little misplaced. But I don't know if it's how it gets into the attack here. And I like my knight being here. So let's go with bishop captures f6. If the bishop comes over, we're just going to slide the queen. And just creating some of these ideas in our head already is how I want to try and utilize our time. Is sometimes I think I get a little bit ahead of myself with the plans. But it does make it much easier to make our plan when we at least have something in mind. That feels a little bit weird, but I don't know why. I'm going to push with e5. I'll probably have to go with bishop takes. Our opponent comes queen to c4, which, yes, pins the knight. And if I take, there might be knight takes. So let's just play king to h8. And I'll pre-move the two recaptures, just because there's not much choice if they do take those directions. I suppose we could look at queen takes instead. And our opponent strikes back with b4. If I take, is there bishop takes? There might be. Might be. If I go knight back, the queen can come in. I can take once. If I take here, knight takes is a threat. If I could get this bishop off the diagonal, that would be fantastic. But I don't think I can. I might just take to open up the position. And we just have a very odd structure. Bishop up. Our opponent has queen takes pawn. I've definitely started to misplay this just a little bit. Are they going to see it, though? I think they will. They're playing strong. Yep, they do find it. Let's go takes. They go with rook takes. And honestly, let's trade down into this endgame. I'm going to weaken the pawns. I'm going to go down into a pawn down endgame and try and play for a draw here. Because our opponent's pawns are quite weak, is what I want to try and play on. Well, I can't trade. And are they going to check? They might. Rook takes. And 30 seconds left, so I'm going to play a little bit faster here. Our opponent can take, and we just take. Let's play a5. It's getting a little scary, getting a little hairy. Oh man, and now they have a 2-pawn advantage. This does not feel very good. Let's go rook f5. G6. And man, I do not love how this has turned out. I guess we're going to go to G8. King C7. And I'm just trying to give our opponent the move. Let's go here. We're going to have to allow them to take. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had 0.8 seconds. Well, let's look at the game review. Today, we didn't play very well. We played with the 76.7, and our opponent played with the 79.5. The opening was a 2 knights, which is not my favorite Caro-Kann to play. I guess G3 was the engine, was a book move, which I didn't know. D4 wasn't incorrect. We played C5, and knight to F6 I think was kind of our first big misstep in the position. Is here, I probably should have just played the move E5 and grab the space, solidify my pawns, and then develop around these. But I got worried about the opponent pushing through. But Queen E7, Knight to C6, and we got into this position where I thought we were actually doing completely fine, and the engine agrees, as we do have a slight advantage here. After F6, opening up the position, we pushed in the center. We played King to H8, which I think was kind of our loss of tempo move, but I was worried about the pin here. Now, what I probably could have done instead was a move like Queen to B6. Maybe I can even play. Maybe I can get away with just takes anyways. I certainly don't think I can push through and just give up the pawn. But yeah, King to H8, B4, struck back, and we just took. And we went for this giant exchange of pieces. And I guess Bishop D5 was correct, but after Queen takes, I don't know what the best move was. Was it Rook captures F4? Oh, we missed the idea. Rook captures F4. Attacks the queen, attacks back here. This is gone. You can't take. That would have been a really nice move to find, and we missed it. We played bishop captures F4, rook captures, and we traded down into this endgame trying to hold the draw. I don't even know what the correct move would be here, because it says king to G8 is wrong. Maybe G6? Oh, there's one good move here. Well, I certainly don't think it's rook to B5. Let's get a little bit of help from the engine here, because we're not seeing it. A5. Wait, that wrong side. A5. Going after this pawn. And our opponent needs to play C3, and then we can bring our king, and we can try and defend this endgame, because like I said, down a pawn, as long as our king stays in front of the pawns, we can get into what's called a Philidor position, which we haven't gotten on the channel yet, but hopefully one day I'll be able to show you guys. Now here we had a bunch of misses where neither one of us were playing our best chess. And rook t8 is wrong because I lose the tempo and our opponent is just going to play rook to e3. And from there, our opponent won that second pawn, and from here, we were in a lot of trouble. You can't really defend a 2-pawn down endgame. Our opponent played very accurately at the end there and managed to pull it off. So Chess.com's review says our opponent played with like a 1950 and we played like an 1850. So not our worst game. We had this really disappointing spot where we missed the correct idea by sacrificing the rook. So in future games, obviously we need to try and take a pause when we can there and really check for tactics, as well as, we need to stop getting into time trouble. I can't count how many games in the series we've been down to significant time trouble. Our opponent 131 versus 458 is always going to lead to disaster. But if you have comments on how I played, leave it down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and then finally make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that helps you to make sure that you don't miss any of my future content. And on that note, I will see you guys on the next day.